This is The Resilient Life, where we believe that every human will struggle in this life. Our challenge is to struggle well. I'm Ryan Manion. I lost my brother to war, my mom to cancer, and I'm the daughter of a retired Marine. I'm also a wife, mom, author, and president of one of the nation's leading veteran service organizations. Join me and some incredible guests as we explore the value of struggling well through life's inevitable challenges. Welcome to another episode of the Resilient Life podcast. I'm really excited today to be sitting down in the studio with my friends Basharmal and Mohammad. I want to give you a little bit of a background. In August, a lot of people have heard me talk about my friends Basharmal and Mohammad, but in August of 2021, brothers Basharmal and Mohammad fled Afghanistan with Basharmal's wife Layla and their 3-year-old son Atal shortly after the Taliban took control on August 15th. They went from Qatar to Italy to Camp Atterbury, Indiana, one of the 8 U.S. safe haven sites. They arrived in the U.S. in early September and relocated to Doylestown, Pennsylvania, where I'm living, on November 9th. Both brothers worked along U.S. troops in Afghanistan as allies, fulfilling contracts with the Army. I want to talk to Basharmal and Mohammad today. They have graciously agreed to sit down with me today in the studio and talk to them a little bit more, not just about where they are today, but growing up in Afghanistan and everything in between. All right, Mohammad, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit of what it was like growing up in Afghanistan. I know you guys come from a big family. Tell us a little bit of what your life looked like there.
The life is totally different from here and in Afghanistan also. The people who growing up in here, they have a lot of opportunities, and in Afghanistan, we don't have that much opportunities for the children, for the kids, for their playing, for their games, for everything that they need to do. We don't have that much opportunities here. So in Afghanistan, we don't have that opportunities, but here, every child, every person, they have a lot of opportunity to do something for their life, to become a better person for the community, for the country, and they can do anything for their country. That's the big difference that I'm seeing between these people.
Yeah. So, we've gotten to know each other a lot over the last year. I've introduced you to some of our traditions here. You guys spent Christmas with me, and you've opened me up to your different traditions, like Eid. And one of the things that I have found over the past year, a common bond between us, is that family is so important. And, I've listened to you guys talk about your family and, the family that you have left behind there. And tell us a little bit about your family life, because you came here to the United States and you guys are living together with Basharmal, with your wife and your son. But you guys came from a big communal living in Afghanistan with all of your siblings and their spouses and children and your parents. Tell us some benefits to that approach and I think that's a common practice in Afghanistan, correct?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the benefits to that. And we've talked about that a little bit, like the differences you see from that respect of how Americans really kind of live with their nuclear family, and it's a little bit different in Afghanistan.
Yeah, we have an extended family, like around 34 family member, and just single family just from my dad. And we were so happy. We had a good life in there. Everything was so good. Everything was good. And when the thing happened back in Afghanistan, that was the terrible thing. Like every family in Afghanistan, they are living together, like a big extended families together, but they don't have any problem like living together. But I think like here is different. Like people live when they're 18 or 20, they're going to their own house and they do their own responsibility that they have for their life. I think that's good. Like people knows their responsibility, what to do next. But also, I think this is the big difference between the families that we were living together, and here like people don't live together a lot. They just like in a couple of months they find some time for their family and they're coming and they're gathering together. I think that's good.
Basharmal, you are the reason that you and Mohammed and your wife and son are in Afghanistan today, because you connected with me via social media to share your story. And I'll tell you, and I've said a couple times when I've talked about how we came to become friends and all of that, but I felt like there was a common bond and a kinship that we shared, because we all lost our brothers to this war, this 20-year war. My brother, as you know, was killed in Iraq in 2007, and your older brother, Amal, was killed in 2013 by the Taliban. And I remember when you shared that story with me and shared, and it was interesting and to understand that across the world, you were suffering the same loss that I had suffered. And let's talk a little bit about Amal. Tell us about your brother. And he was your older brother, leaves behind a wife and children. And I think, to how we work with all these families of the fallen here in the United States. But I want to hear about your brother, his family, and what he meant to you.
Yeah, thank you. And I will talk about my brother. He has his own company. He has a construction company in the name of Emal Bilal. So in 2013, he got shot from the enemy of Afghanistan, from the enemy of the peace. So they shot my brother and they killed my brother. So he has a good relation with the U.S. Army in Afghanistan. He has a good contracts with U.S. Army. He has a big contract, like it's called BPA, Business Purchase Agreements with U.S. Army. And he was providing all the services in 2 provinces. It's called Lugar and Wardak provinces. So many time we get threat letter from Taliban that don't work with U.S. Army, and my brother was not listening them. He said, "This is my life. I will grow my business, and I'm doing good for my country." So for this, the enemy of the peace killed my brothers. My brother, yeah.
Tell us what your brother was like.
Yeah, he was a very good man, and he married and he has 4 sons, and he was a very good boy. I can call boy, because when I was in 8th class, I left school and I went to learn the excavator.
Excavator,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And within 2 years, I was the helper. Like my age was 13, 14 years old, and I learned excavator and I became like an operator of that. After 2 years, my brother came to me and he told me, "You don't need this. Come and learn your school. You don't need this to do that." And he bring me back to school, and I learned school, university. And the last year of my school, he killed. After that, we learn how like to work with the U.S. Army, and we know the way of the business. So we learn anything from our brothers. Then we started business with the U.S. Army.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you left school to
Yes.
work,
Yeah.
and your brother said, "No, go back to school."
Yeah, go back to school.
So you went back to school, and then after your brother was killed, you started your own company working with the U.S. Army.
Yeah, after that, I made my own license for business, and I made like around 70 contracts with US Army. It's the total of like $8 million. I had business with US Army, and I going on the way that my brother was.
Following in his
Yeah,
path.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And your brother's wife and 4 sons are still in Afghanistan.
Yes, they are still in Afghanistan. They are going to school, and now they are happy with us.
They're happy.
Yeah.
How old were you when Amal died? So Basharmal was 18 years old. So gosh, you were even younger.
Yeah, I was 15-year-old. My brother Amal was he was 16-year-old that he became a mechanic. We came from a poor we came from a poor family, and that time when he was 16-year-old, he started working in the mechanic shop, and he became a mechanic like in 2007. When he was 17, he became a mechanic, and then he didn't find any good money in that, and then he started the trailer driving, and for 2 years he did the driving for the trailer, and then when he was 19-year-old, and that time, like in that 2 years, he got 2 times by Taliban. He was arrested by Taliban with the trailer, and he was so funny, and he was like when someone was around him, he was so comfortable, and he was so friendly with people, and that was the one reason that he was the Taliban didn't kill him, and they sent him back to home. And when he came back, when the last time he got arrested by Taliban, he came home, and my dad told him that you don't have to drive. That's very dangerous, and we don't want to lose you. He said, but we need money. We need money for the family. We need everything for the family to do. You cannot do it alone. I need to help you. So he told us that to all the small brother, sister, that we have to study, and he's gonna work for us, and he will do anything for us to become a good person or have a better life ahead. And he was 19-year-old that he started in 2007. He started working with the U.S. military in Afghanistan, and in just 1 year he became a big contractor with the U.S. Army. In 2011 and in 2012, we received the letter from the Taliban that they said you should stop working with the U.S. military because that's not good, or otherwise we're gonna kill you. But he didn't listen to them. He saw the struggle for our family, and he didn't stop working, and he didn't care about the Taliban. He said, I just want to work, and I need to do something for the country also. And he was helping other families. Like he was the person, like for around 100 family in Afghanistan. He was helping like 100 families, everyone, that if someone asking for money, he didn't say, no, I don't have. Whatever he had, he was willing to give it to them. And he made a good things in Afghanistan. He, like, some families, they needed, and he made like for maybe for 1,000 families, the water well from the ground. It was needed for for that family. They have to go like around 2 miles to bring water for their village, but he made for other families that he was going to help them. In 2013, we lost him, and like around 1,000 families, they lost someone that he was the provider of that families. He was helping that families. He was a good man.
What an incredible impact that he had not only on other families, but also on his younger brothers. Could you think about that? You know, Basharmal, you could have very easily stayed out of school, right? And kept working with an excavator and never received an education.
No.
And here, both of you are not only educated through grade school, but also with college degrees and, you know, and are going on. And I didn't know your brother, but I feel like a lot of your brother lives in both of you, because I've watched the way as you came over here to America, and you guys came with nothing but the clothes on your back. And the first thing you guys were looking for was how could you help others? And I remember having conversations with you when you guys were still living in a hotel and saying, what do you need? And you were telling me about, well, we don't need anything, but these families in Philadelphia need this, because you were talking to other families and finding out what their needs are. And that has continued to this day. So I believe that that's a lot of them all living inside of both of you, and the legacy that he's left behind in the way that he was out there helping other families. I see that in both of you.
Yeah.
Incredible legacy to leave behind. So let's talk about how you got over here, right? And let's backtrack, because we kind of passed over the fact that, you know, your brother's continuing to get calls or letters and getting arrested by the Taliban, being told, stop working with the Taliban or we're going to kill you. And he made that decision. He knew the risk. He knew that every day when he walked out of the house, there was that risk that the Taliban was going to kill him. But he was impassioned not only to help others, but to help his family, and felt like he was doing the right thing. What was that like? Because, you know, when I look back on the last 20 years, you know, my brother went to serve and he was in Iraq twice. And we know many people that were in Afghanistan, but it was like our loved ones were going off into a dangerous place, but like you guys were living it, right? So you guys were in the epicenter of Afghanistan while the war was happening. Your brother's getting letters sent to the house that you're living in saying, stop what you're doing. Was there a daily like fear? I mean, I know you guys were younger, you were young teens, but were you fearful in everyday life? Was that something that was in your head every day, or was it just a part of living? What was that like for you, Basharmal?
Yeah. So every time when he want to go to the army bases and the way was too danger, every time when he was when he was out from the house, and we were calling and thinking about my brother that when he will become back to
Right.
house. So when the night and the day he got shot, I meet him like 15 minutes before that. He was like in the right of the near to our house, and he called me that one of my uncle needs something. Can you come here? And on that day, he brought me a new car for me, and I was in 12th class that I was going to in my car to school, and it's happening like in 1,000 family. Like you can find just one family that at 12th grade class while going to school in his car.
That's not a normal thing.
Yeah, it's not a normal thing. And the same day he brought me a car and he told me that came here and our uncle needs something. When I meet him and when I come back to my house, I was sit to eat something. In the time that I got called from his bodyguard that he got shot. And time, I don't know what did. I don't know.
But what was that like for you just prior to that? I know you're saying like every time your brother left, you were scared for his safety. But did you guys live in fear at all? Like, or was it that was just daily life?
Yeah, it was daily life. Like so we were not going to the danger areas of Afghanistan. We were in the Kabul city. It was safe for us. But when he was going to outside, like when he was going to army bases for meetings, or there was some problem in the contract, the army calling, and he was going to fix that problem. So we thinking, my mother, my family, all of us was calling, and when you are coming back, is the way safe? Are you safe? And he was, yeah, I'm coming, and I will come in 2 hours, 1 hour. So our life was going in this situation.
So daily life for you guys was not fearful of your own safety because you were in a relatively safe place, but you were always scared for your brother's safety.
Yes,
Yeah.
always, because we were in the safe place, it's Kabul city, and we didn't think about us because we think that we are in a house and it's safe for us. But my brother got shot in Kabul city, near to 1 mile from our house.
Right.
Yeah.
But all of that changes when you kind of take over the family business and start contracting yourself, both of you, with the US Army.
Yeah.
And then you guys find yourself in the same position that Amal was once in.
Yes.
Where now, you guys are prime targets because you are working with the US. And as that takes place over the course, 8 years you were working with the US Army.
Yes.
And then last August happens.
Yeah.
And you find that the Americans are pulling out.
Yeah, we should leave.
And was that your first thought? Like, we need to get out of here?
Yeah. Because when in 2016, after my brother, 2 years after that, I contacted my supervisor, was a contracting officer in Afghanistan. I said that I need your help. I need a recommendation letter to apply for SIV, Special Immigrant Visa. And he said, sure, I will sign your letter. Send me the letter, I will sign it. Then I send my letter, and it takes around 6 months that he answered me. And he was signed my letter, and I applied for SIV. And 3 times I had missed documents. And finally, the SIV, like the Department of State, said that we need your supervisor passport number.
Right. So
And
you were waiting on one number from
for 2 or 3 years.
For 2 or 3 years. So in
Yeah.
2016, you're already saying, like, I want to get out of here.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, this is not. And Mohammed, are you feeling the same way? Like, do you know that in 2016 that Basharmal is already thinking like, hey, I'm starting the process to eventually leave Afghanistan? Are you aware of that?
That time I was like 15 to
Right, you were young.
16, yeah,
Yeah.
16-year-old, and I always wanted to study like in some good place, like outside from my country, because we didn't have the good system for the education and everything. I always wanted to study, and that's why my brother sent me to India for my bachelor, and I did my bachelor in computer science from India. And then in 2019, I went back to Afghanistan. In 2018, I went back to
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And you're working with Basharmal.
Yeah.
You guys are working together. You're going through the SIV process. Did you start the SIV process? And so SIV process, for those, is Special Immigrant Visa.
Yeah.
For those that are listening that may not know. Did you start the process at that time as well, or did you wait a little bit longer?
We had our all family. My dad, I have 8 brothers, and the 6 brothers, including me, we had our own companies because of our brother, because he made 6 companies for every brother, for every one of us.
Amal did.
That we should work, we should have our own company, we should be like stand by our own feet. That's the big thing that he did for us, and he showed us that how to live life, how to be responsible for your family, for other family, for everyone that they need help.
Yeah. So Basharmal is working since 2016 to get the SIV, and we're hearing it here. So you guys were probably hearing it around the same time as us, and it's been 3 presidents now have said they're going to pull out of Afghanistan. So you're hearing that back in 2016. Obama said it, Trump said it, and then Biden said it. And then it finally starts to look like, okay, this is really happening. That's when you reached out to me. we started communicating. And, at the time, I didn't really know what I could do for you. I knew you were waiting on a passport number from a soldier over here in the States. You sent me his LinkedIn and you said, hey, can you find this guy? Can you reach out to him? And then it was on, I'm trying to think, the Taliban took over on August 15th. Taliban took over on August 15th. And Mohammed, you shared that story a little bit about being in your office. But that day, we're flashing back a little over a year ago. That day, was it just like, oh my gosh, like, this just got real, like this is really happening? Because, it's like the idea that like you hear and you hear things are going to happen, but it's almost until it happens, you can't believe that it's happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what was that day like for you? Like on August 15th, where it was like, oh, the Taliban is starting to take over parts of Kabul city. Like this is really happening. What was going through your head?
Yeah. Like after 2014, Obama said that we will leave Afghanistan soon, but we were not believing that, and our whole government not believing that, and that U.S. Army will never left Afghanistan. So for this, we just trying to be safe, and I told you that I applied in 2016 for my SIV visa. But on the night that I contacted, my supervisor was not answering me, and I contacted you. That I told you that if you can contact him. But on the same night, I got response from my supervisor, and he said that first he said, "Sorry, I can give you my passport number." I said, "I worked for you. I had a contract for you, and I was working with you in the same base. I was there for 2-3 months with you."
He said he wouldn't give you his passport number.
Yeah.
Interesting.
First he said, "I can give you." Then I said, I worked with you like 3 months in the same base. We live together.
I mean,
And
you had pictures with him.
yeah. And I told him that you can't leave me behind. And he said, "Okay, this is my passport number." Then I came back to when I had messages to you. Then I deleted that messages back, because I said, this man, if you contact him, this will become angry and will say that why you share my information with someone else. So for this, I deleted that text back. And when Afghanistan fit in August 15, you texted me that, were you able to get out of Afghanistan? I said, no, still I'm in hell. So
Yep. I'll never forget that text.
Yeah.
Are you still in? I just said, are you still in Afghanistan? And you said, no, ma'am, I'm still in hell.
Yeah. So we when in August, like in August 14, we're not believing that Kabul will be catch by Taliban and Taliban will come to Kabul city. But in August 15, our president left Afghanistan, and our all army, like they left their jobs, and US Army left their embassy. They went to the airport. So then we think, yeah, they are leaving.
You knew it was real.
Yeah, everything is finished, and we should try to get out from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
But in the same time, you contact me and try to figure out about our life, and you did it. Yeah.
Well, I didn't just do it. There was a lot of people who helped me. And I'll tell you, when I sent you that text saying, are you still in Afghanistan? It's not like I had any plan if you were still there. I was hoping you would just write back like, no, I'm good. I'm in Germany or, wherever. I've made it somewhere. Right. And then when you wrote back, no, I'm still here. I'm still in hell. I was like, oh crap, now I got to do something. I can't just be like, sorry to hear that. All right, best of luck to you. And so I just put out a message on my social media, and I just was like, hey, who can help? And it was incredible, the amount of people that started writing back. I mean, my son's in Afghanistan, I can connect you with him. Or, hey, I know I've got a buddy there. If you can get your friends over to the Abbey Gate at this time or this gate, and messages just started flying in. And I'm like, okay, now we've got to figure out what's happening. We ended up connecting with Jared, who was on the ground in Afghanistan, Air Force major, who was our saving grace in concocting a plan. And we've talked about it a lot before. And if we kind of go through the entire story, this will be a 3-hour podcast, but you guys made 2 attempts to go to the airport. It was on your second attempt that you stood there for, it was close to 10 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 10 hour, and we were there. We were waiting like for 10 hours from 2 p.m. to until 12 a.m. We were waiting there.
So Mohammad, I want you to just tell us a little bit, like, I'm sitting in my house and I'm getting sporadic texts from you. And so let's just fill in the audience on the plan. Basically, I tell you to leave your house at 2 a.m. And this isn't my, I'm being told by Jared on the ground in Afghanistan, to have you guys, you guys need to get to the Abbey Gate and you need to hold up a sign, and he's going to identify you by this sign. And so, but it's like, you've got to get there early because there's just thousands and thousands of people there, and just getting through that crowd. So you guys leave your house at 2 a.m. to get to the airport. And I'm getting sporadic texts from you. And none of it seems really positive. I mean, Basharmal just kept texting me like, there's 20,000 people here. He will never find us. And I'm like, just hold up the sign, and text like Atal. And I'm seeing these pictures of beautiful Atal, your 3-year-old son, and his face is dripping in sweat. And you're saying Atal is hot and he is tired. And now knowing that beautiful little boy, I can't imagine him standing outside for all those hours. But Mohammad, I remember once you got here, you were kind of sharing, it was more than just crowds and heat. I mean, it was probably one of the most dangerous situations you had ever found yourself in, right?
Yeah, it was. In August 15, when around 8 o'clock, I went to my office and I was sitting there. I called to my best friend and I just told him, why you are sleeping till now? Get up. I was just joking with him, like kidding with him, that Taliban took over all Afghanistan and you are still sleeping. Go out. You gotta do something. I was just kidding, and I was not sure that will happen. Like after 2 hours, like 11 o'clock, people was running from one side to another side. I went outside and I asked what's happening, and they said the Taliban is coming. They're coming to the capital, and I said, no, I don't believe this. And they said, no, that they are coming, and they left their job, their everything, and they just wanted to go home to be safe, because we had the experience from multiple years before that time Taliban came and they killed a lot of people in Afghanistan. So everybody was scared and they just have to run to their house to be just safe. Like that day was a terrible day in my life. And then I just went inside to my office and I collect my computer and all that stuff. I said, if they come and they my things in here and all the documents and everything, that will be like something just to shot me. That will be like something for them.
You become enemy number one because they know what you're doing.
And then I just took my thing, all the document and everything. I just left to home and I went home, and like no one was believing that they actually come to capital. It was the unbelievable day.
And so, the plan all along was Basharmal, Layla, and Atal. So the whole time, everybody I'm talking to and communicating with on the ground, behind the gates at the airport. I'm saying, you know, it's Basharmal, his wife Layla, and son Atal. And then Basharmal sends me a text. Oh, by the way, my brother Mohammed's with me too. And I said, what do you mean? You didn't tell me that. And he said, well, I said, listen, have Mohammed go, but if they turn Mohammed away, you have to keep going. And I remember saying, yeah, we will. Well, you know, but he's just going to try. And, but Mohammed, tell us a little bit, like, I know because I'm communicating with Basharmal the whole time. We're texting back and forth, but tell us from like your perspective, you know, there's August 15th, but then there's, you know, flash forward a few days later, you're standing in, you know, the heat with 20,000 people all trying to get through one gate into this airport. What are you thinking? And you saw some pretty terrible things while you were there as well.
When I came back that day in August 15, when I came back home at night, I received a call from my friend, and he told me that everyone is leaving and they can go from the airport, and they're like taking everybody. They don't see the document and everything. And I said, I have my document and everything ready with me. I just need to show them like how to go, but they will let me go. But I didn't thought it will be like the hardest thing to get to the airport. It was like terrible. They like around more than like in every gate, more than like 20,000, 30,000 people was there. Like it was unbelievable. And the Taliban was standing there and they were beating people, and the people were just pushing to the gate and they were hitting them with the pipe and the stuff that they had in their hand and the gun. I tried for almost 2 days to get to the airport. I was going like around 12 o'clock in night. That I was thinking that I think there will be less people and I can go. But when I was trying to get there, but it was the hardest thing, I didn't. And the next day around 1 o'clock in evening, I was there, and there was a friend that I met him in there, and he was also trying to get to the airport. So he found one way that was the hardest way, like to airport from, like, we have to pass the wall, the big wall, like 3 to 4 meter wall, and then we can go to the airport. And when he was on the wall and he was trying to go to, like, enter to the airport, he got shot. And he got shot here, and like just in his mind. And it was like the terrible thing that I saw.
So you're standing there and your friend just
I
shot
was just like watching, like, how is he was like, he was dying, and I'm watching him, and no one is helping him, and no one can help, because if someone help him, they will get shot, because that time no one helped him. And I was there. I just helped him, took him to the taxi, and I told the taxi, just any hospital you can just take him. He said okay, but I didn't left. I was trying to go. And then Basharmal called me and he said, you don't have to be killed. Just come home. You have your document and everything. We will find a way. And when I came back home, and he showed me the message that he's communicating with you, and I said, okay, whenever she said that you have to go to the airport, that time I will go with you, and I will just try to show my document to the soldier. Maybe they will let me go. But when he told you and you communicate okay, and then I said, now maybe I will go. I like some kind of hope I had.
You didn't think, who's this crazy woman texting with you?
I was like, I was not sure like how
You weren't
how,
100% sold.
I was not sure like how she can help from America and here and that, like in that big crowd and that much soldier and like everything is there is a lot of firing, how she will help. But when I came, I had the sign in my hand and I was standing like from 3 to 4 hours just in wall just to show the sign to the Jared and somebody see the sign. When Jared saw the sign and he came around 1 o'clock, uh, when he pulled out the people and he was coming to us, and that time I said, okay, now he's coming. When he pulled up through the gate and I show him my document and everything. But before that, I think you have talked to him that I'm also including the family.
I gave him a heads up. There may be one more in the crew.
Yeah. And that he saw my document and he said, "You're good." I said, "Thank God."
I mean, I'll tell you, when you say like, yeah, I'm thinking, how is this woman going to help from America?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really know if I was going to be able to help. And it was for me, like, you talk about just like having faith, right?
Mhm.
And having faith in something and hope. And that's not really kind of like how I am I mean, I do have faith, but I'm more like practical. It's like, okay, here's A, we've got to get to B. This is how we're going to do it. This is a no fail plan. Like, I'm not used to things that you have to just kind of like throw yourself into and hope that it's going to work out and not be sure that this is a fail-proof plan. And I think the military is a little bit more trained to kind of try things in different ways and know that, maybe there's a 50% failure rate. For me, I was like, it was very foreign to me. It was foreign to me. I didn't know if this was going to work. And so the last text I got from you, Basharmal, was a text with a picture of Atal. And he looked like he was just about to fall over. And you said, I think we need to go soon. Atal is overheating. And I still have that picture on my phone. And it's just this little boy that, and I'm thinking as I'm lying there, because it's like 1 o'clock for you, but it was the middle of the night for me. And I'm lying there thinking, oh my gosh, I'm telling these people to stay in this crowd. And there's a little boy there. And I don't know if Jared's going to see their sign. And this could be a colossal disaster and waste of time, and something very bad could happen. And I didn't know whether to text you back, okay, turn around and just go back, or to say, hey, just stick it out a little bit longer. And I think I texted you something back like, you do what you have to do. If you feel like you need to leave, you leave. And it was shortly after that I got the text from Jared that said, I have him. And I was, as much as you were like, when he waved you in and said, come on. I mean, when I got that text, I was like, part of my French, I was like, holy shit. Like, I can't believe this worked. And to see that picture of you guys with Jared, actually, you just took a picture of Jared. He was checking your papers and you took a picture, and I'm like, that's him. Oh my God. And to see those pictures and be like, oh my gosh, they're through the gate. And in my head, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to be on a plane in 10 minutes. I mean, you guys sat in the airport for a couple of days, but I didn't care. I mean, I know you guys were uncomfortable. I know you were tired. I know you were hungry, but I think you guys were probably feeling what I was, which was like, who cares? We're through that gate, right? And you think of the thousands and thousands of people that didn't make it through that gate. Some of them, like you, were people that were going to be targeted by the Taliban because you were working with our US service members. And some of them never made it through that gate, and some of them are still living in a bad situation in Afghanistan. But I'm forever grateful that you guys made it through that great gate, and that you're here now, and all that you guys are doing over here with us.
I want to share something that, according to No One Left Behind the
Uh-huh.
organization,
Yeah.
they said like around 4% people of like who is eligible for SIV, who has a SIV, like special immigrant visa cases, they are evacuated to USA. And
Wait, so you're saying just 4%
just 4%
of eligible SIV
are in America now.
are in the States now.
Yeah,
Okay.
and 96% people still left behind, and they are trying to get out from Afghanistan. Anybody want to get out from Afghanistan because there is like no work, no education, school is closed for girls, and it's everything is messed there.
Yeah. So what are your like, and that's a thing, like, you know, we're coming up, we're here. We're at, I mean, it was a couple days ago was a year anniversary that you guys made it through, but like, you know, we're 1 year removed from all that happened, and largely it's gone away. You know, the media is not covering it. It's not something where they're talking about the living conditions in Afghanistan. But your family's still there. Like, what are they saying? Like,
Yeah.
what is life like in Afghanistan for them now?
Yeah, now everything is terrible, and Taliban is still like they're torturing and killing people. They're killing like from the army, from last government, and the people that was working with US Army. They're still checking and torturing these people.
Yeah.
And the school is still closed for girls, no women rights, nothing, no education. And the government, like now, around, according to the UN United Nations report, that around 90% people will be like in next month, they will become like hunger problems because they don't have food there.
Yeah.
So it's really terrible. And my family, every time they calling, they said, there is like when we told them that I miss Afghanistan, like something, they said, no, don't come here. There is nothing. You can't make your future here.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything is terrible, and no government. Afghanistan is now like a country with no walls, with no borders.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just a free for all.
Yeah, free for all. And like we saw that a few time ago, the Al Qaeda leader also killed in Afghanistan, and they are not in the agreement with the U.S. Army. Like they made agreement with the U.S. that they will not they will not have relation with other terrorist groups, but they are still doing that.
Yeah. So when you think about that, like if there was one thing, and I'll ask both of you, you guys both answer it. Basharmal, we'll start with you. Like if there was one thing you wanted Americans to know about Afghanistan right now, right? What would that be?
Yeah, I will say like a short sentence that do not miss Afghan people.
Wait, say that again.
Yeah, do not miss Afghanistan people. They are like the people that was work with US Army, that has like in last government, they need help.
Yeah. So we have to continue.
Yeah, we need to continue to help them. Like people don't have food to eat, and someone should take care of that. And some like that is in the government here. They should they should have pressure to Taliban that they make a way for the people to have like the work and the women rights. They should do these things.
Yeah. I mean, so, you know, just like kind of where I am and in how I think about the US's involvement in, you know, different countries to be, there's so many atrocities happening around the world. There's so many countries that people are impoverished and, you know, aren't receiving the right education, are going hungry, are in dangerous situations. And, you know, it's hard for America to be the world police, right? Like we don't have enough resources, and I don't think that that's the role that we should play, policing all these other countries. But when there are these types of atrocities, like we have to send clear and strong messages, right? But where I think it's a little bit different with Afghanistan is the point you bring up. If there were 4% of our SIV, our special immigrant visas, 4% of those Afghans that were working with the US Army or the US service members, because they were working with Marines as well. you guys keep saying Army, so I say Army. I'm a Marine family, so Marines. But the fact of the matter is that when we came to Afghanistan, when we came to people like your brother and asked for help and his contracting services, we made commitments. When Afghans stood up and said, we are going to be translators for you while you're going out in the field to kill the Taliban, like we made commitments to all of you to say, like, work with us, help us to bring your country to prosperity, to, overcome the Taliban rule. And we're going to take care of you. We're not going to leave you behind. And, here we are today with 96% of those people, if no one left behind, if their statistics are right, have been left behind. And I continue to get emails daily from Afghans. And it breaks my heart every day that, because our story was a little bit publicized. And so people were able to see how I helped you guys. But like the resources I had that helped you, they're no longer there.
Yeah.
So I don't have the opportunity right now to help in the way that I did a year ago. And so I feel like there's nothing I can do. What do I do? Right. And, but I do think that we have a moral obligation to stay true to the word that we gave to the Afghan people that were fighting side by side alongside of us for 20 years. All right, Mohammad, one thing you would want Americans to know about what's going on in Afghanistan right now, or where we are?
I will just say, like, the American army, they shouldn't leave Afghanistan like the way they did. Maybe there will be a better way to leave it, but that was not the right way that they did it, because there was a lot of people that they were working with them side by side, and they have lost their loved one and their family in that war, and they all left behind like nothing happened. It shouldn't be like that. Maybe there will be like a peaceful way, but they didn't try that way. At first we thought like maybe they will stay like for a 4 month to 6 month, that they will help the people the people who helped them in Afghanistan, they will like do something with that families, with that people that they were working, but they didn't do anything like that. And they just left like they didn't tell people that we are leaving, and just like 1 day, 3 day, 6 months to 1 month, they didn't say anything, and they just like, we're just leaving. And everybody was just trying to get to the airport, going to exit the Afghanistan, to leave Afghanistan.
Yeah, I'm not a military strategist, but I can pretty much say I probably could have single-handedly figured out a better way to exit Afghanistan than how it went down.
Yeah. I want to share like one thing. I was listening your podcast with General Joseph Dunford, and he talked like very clearly and very good. And his idea was, I like his idea that he said that I had a recommendation for Trump administration that we should not remove all the troops from Afghanistan. We should leave some troops in Afghanistan to control that country. I think that was a good idea, and the U.S. Army should be there, and like they should have like just one base, and they can control all the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. General Dunford spoke pretty candidly about his recommendation to actually the Obama administration, the Trump administration, and the Biden administration, that there should always, you can end the war, but you can also keep a small number of troops to keep stability in the country.
Yeah.
And and knowing him, and he is a incredible leader, I wish that his recommendations would have been taken.
Yeah, he accepted that recommendation, and that was a good idea. And I think at this time, not all the people will leave Afghanistan, because now everyone trying to get out from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And our schools teachers, our university teachers, some good students, they all left Afghanistan. They went like to the neighbor countries. Every day, like around 10 to 20,000 people left Afghanistan, like to other, like the neighbor countries.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk moving forward. You've been in the United States for 1 year. And we had dinner, or actually we had tea a few nights ago. We had dinner last night, but we had tea a few nights ago on the 1-year anniversary of when you left Afghanistan. And we were just talking a little bit about what that was like and where you are now. But I'd love to know from each of you, like, what impact that, like, this journey has had on you. Like, how have you coped? Give me the highs and the lows of, what the last year has looked like.
Yeah, the last year looks like very good, and I think it's been too fast this year, and it was faster than that 10 hour that we were in the crowd.
1 year went faster
Yeah,
than 10 hours
10
at the
hours.
airport.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that, actually.
Yeah, and it's very good, and now we are here. We are enjoy this town, and we're living in freedom. We have freedom. We have our choices, and we respect to our choices and other choices, other people choices. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mohammed, what about you?
There is a lot of changes in just 1 year. There is new opportunities that right now I'm working on it, and hopefully, and it will be successful. I think it's very, like, I think I should be grateful for that opportunities that I have now. Now I know, like, what to do in my life, how to be a successful man in the future, and how, like my brother, how I will help other family, other people. I don't care who I'm helping, but I just need to help anyone. I don't care who is he, from where is he. I just want to help anyone in here. And the big difference in that 1 year that I experienced, that was the TMF, in fact, in my life, like how these people treat other people, how they respect other people, and how they getting respect back. When you respect other people, you will get respect. So I experienced that in TMF here, like how to be valuable, how to be a better person, how to become a better person. They will help from any way, like just to help you, just to be a good man, to be a helpful man to other, for your family, for other family. I think this is the big difference.
Well, I think I think you were living it before in Afghanistan, and, inspired by the legacy of your brother Amal. But, like, I've seen both of you adopt the "if not me, then who" ethos in your lives in the past year in a big way.
Yeah, I saw the 5 words that if not me, then who. Like, this is just the 5 word, but if you see deeply in that word, it's not just a word. It's like life-changing word. It will completely change your life. Like, you have to think, if not you, then who?
Yeah.
You have to, like, everybody should do that. Everybody should try this. I think that 5 words, like, they bring me like a big difference in my life, and now I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing good stuff. All right. So I always ask, if you've listened to the podcast. Basharmal said he listened to the General Dunford episode. So at the end, I ask everybody, like, what does living a resilient life look like for you? Resilience, right? Like, resilience. You recognize the word resilience? No. Okay. Well, that's why I'm going to, like, how you overcome hardship. So I can tell you how I think both of you are living a resilient life. But you guys, again, I don't want to put too much stress on it, but 1 year ago, you guys left everyone you know, everything you have, and hopped on a plane and had no idea where you were going to end up. and now you live in a small town outside of Philadelphia, right? Like, I mean, when you think about the enormity of that, it's big.
Yeah.
So resiliency means, like, how did you put one foot in front of the other after that day, right? So what did it look like for you in terms of like being resilient? How did you cope with all these changes? You know, you're both saying they're good, like we're happy, we have freedom, we have opportunity, but you also had some tough times, and I'm sure you can continue to have some tough times. You guys talk to me a lot about how much you miss your family that's over there. Like, how do every day you put one foot in front of the other?
Obviously, like everyone experiencing that, if they're far from their family, from their friends, like when they were living like for 10 years, 15 years with them, and like suddenly you leave them, and like it will be some kind of impact about your life, like it will change. But we, like, especially I didn't lose anything. Like I didn't lose hope in something. I was always trying to do something better. I think that was the reason that like I keep myself busy with the thing that I do. So I I don't think that much about other stuff, but I just want to do something, and like something to create, something to do, to be busy in that thing. Um and I don't have to think about that. Sometimes I do think, and it's where like it's hard, but when I see around and the families, that the people, that how they treat me, how they interact with me, I'm just saying human is like, they should be like this.
You said keeping busy, and that's
Yeah.
true. Like, you know, when you talk about resiliency, it's about one foot in front of the other. It's about making sure you just keep going, right? Like, not just stopping. And so, you know, being resilient for you in the past year has been keeping busy.
Yeah.
And I think you've also recognized the enormity of the beauty of the human race, right? And just the power of how people can come together. And I think that's beautiful. Basharmal, what about you? I gave him a lot of time to think, you know? He was thinking of his answer.
Yeah, it's correct that we left our family in Afghanistan, but when we came here, I think, and we found a big family here. It's like TMF Manion Foundation, and it's a big family for me. And also, like when I'm going to in the city with the Manion Foundation T-shirt, all people are respecting me and they're saying, "Yeah, you did it," and something like they say, "Hi, I know Manion Foundation," and everybody talking, and they know about Manion Foundation, and I am feeling really good at that time. So now I have a big family here, and also like a few time ago I went to mosque with my son Atal, and when we prayed there, I became outside, and I feel like that I was in country that all the people was Muslim, but we are afraid to go to the mosque because we say that it will be blasting somewhere and someone should kill us, or there will be blast in mosque and something.
It was dangerous to go to the mosque in Afghanistan.
It was danger. And when I came here and went to mosque, I felt better. And I came back with Atal and I said, every time I will bring you once a week to the mosque. Said, okay.
Well, you found your extended family here in the United States, and what you guys continue to do to help other Afghan families in the, not just the greater Philadelphia area, but across the country. Because I know you guys are working with families in Texas, and it's been awesome for me to see. And you know, I thank you for reaching out to me and sharing the story of your brother, and finding that connection with me. And you know, it's just, for me, it's been awesome to watch you guys grow and just become acclimated to, I've introduced you to a lot of different things in the American culture, and just how you have embraced it with open arms and been open to everything. It's been an awesome journey for me to watch the two of you and Layla and Atal just thrive over the past year. And I thank you for continuing to share your story because it's important and people need to see it. And just as important as it is to understand, you know, how you guys left Afghanistan and fled Afghanistan, you hear these stories of immigrants that flee their countries and you never really fully can grasp or understand that. And at least I couldn't. And getting to know you guys over the past year and watch, you know, some of the things, the challenges that you've had, but some of the great moments that you've had as well has been incredible. So thank you both for all you continue to do, for the resiliency, even though you don't fully understand what that word means. You are a very resilient person, Mohammad, and you guys demonstrate resiliency each and every day.
Yeah, we thank you and the Travis Manion Foundation also. And I have like in the all last 1 year, I had like some things that I will never forget that. Unlike when we have a sign in Kabul airport and when I saw Jared and you told me it's what's the name of that troops? I said it's Spurgeon. And you said no, Spurgeon is the name of the sign.
Yeah.
And it's not his name.
Spurgeon was the name we put on the sign. And I don't even remember. It was a bunch of people texting and Spurgeon was the name of someone that was involved in our text group. It was the last name. And he was living over in Europe. And that's what you put on the sign, Spurgeon.
Yeah. And another time, like when we entered the airport, Jared, like it was too hot, the weather was too hot. And we just wait like for 3 hours, and Jared was also with us for that 3 hours. He was staying there, and he never said, he never like had anything cold. He just stayed with us, and I will never forget that. And I was thinking that why he's doing this, why they are doing this with us. Like he just stayed there for 3 hours, and this hot sun, and he's not doing anything, and then I realized that it's being human and respecting that.
Yeah. Jared stood with you for 3 hours.
For 3 hours, yeah.
Yeah. So final question, whatever happened to that sign? I mean, that's that sign that you guys held out there for 10 hours.
Maybe you can ask that from Milad.
Milad?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Milad was another Afghan that was standing with them as well that day. I'll have to ask Milad what happened to that sign. It'd be cool.
I think we took that sign to Jared. Jared was there, and we all entered to the gate, and we had the sign, because if we put that sign outside, because other people will took the sign.
They were like, "Hey, that sign was doing something."
Yeah, and they will enter to the airport.
Well, we've got a picture of that sign, of course, because you guys sent me pictures of it. So I think we got to get that sign, that picture framed and put up in the TMF offices somewhere as a reminder. Yeah. Yeah. Basharmal Mohammad, thank you so much for joining me. Awesome. I mean, I get to talk to you every day, but for everybody else to hear your story and hear you guys share what the last years look like for you, I really appreciate it. Thanks to everybody for joining me for another episode of the Resilient Life podcast. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends.